Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include these stories and more coming up after this. Please stay tuned.
Each year in Canada, hundreds of fires are started by children playing with lighters and matches. Children as young as 18 months can operate a lighter and start fires. The consequences couldn't be more deadly. Keep lighters and matches out of sight and out of reach of children. A message from Health Canada and this broadcaster.
Residents of the lower section of the trailer court have been experiencing water problems in recent weeks.
Got water line mark, Dave? Oh, got a budget carried for us in front of that, oh, new car they got there?
So what's your time
I come across just in time, or I wouldn't have got back in yet.
The bell tower of Faith United Church now houses a town clock. The clock, which was installed last week, is the first of its kind for Burgeo. Stay tuned, there's more of This Week in Review still to come.
If we keep taking from the land, it won't have anything left to give. In the end, we'll all lose. But there are ways to help. They don't require complicated technology, and they don't cost much. They're techniques inspired by local people. USC Canada is working with partners in Africa, building fences to protect farmland from wind erosion, laying simple catchments to trap scarce rainwater and coax food crops to grow, planting saplings to help reforest barren land. It's starting to work, and it doesn't take a miracle. What it does take is long-term commitment so that today's children will have something to inherit and more to pass on. I'm Bruce Coburn for USC Canada, 56 Spark Street, Ottawa.
The junior and youth choirs of St. John the Evangelist Church have been busy Christmas caroling over the past few weeks. Here are the choirs during a recent performance at Ingram's Foodland.
Hail the new year, lads and lasses,
Santa was very busy getting ready for Christmas on Tips Eve, but not too busy to stop by the fire hall to have brunch with the kids. Speaking with me now via telephone is MHA for Burgeo Bay Despair, Mr. Gilbert. Welcome to our studio, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, David. Nice to be back in your studio again.
Mr. Gilbert, have you received a copy of the proposal from the Western Hospital Board, which is proposing to close the Calder Healthcare Centre here in Burgeo?
No, I haven't, David. The only thing that I've heard about the proposal from the Western Board is what Doug Kendall told me, and I talked to Doug Kendall and Blaine Marks on Christmas Eve, as a matter of fact. And I told them, at the time that this was certainly not a government initiative. This was a policy that was initiated by the Western Board, and I thought it was the most idiotic, stupid recommendation that I had ever heard in my life, and that I would be, taking it up with government if it ever came to the point that it was going to be a point of discussion even.
Have you had any correspondence thus far with any other government officials regarding the proposal?
I've been talking to the Minister of Health, and he hasn't received anything officially from the Western Board, and like he says, he's going to receive from all the boards, I suppose, all kinds of recommendations to saving money, or for saving money, but like I said to him, there comes a point, when saving money becomes counterproductive. And in the case of closing the Burgeo Hospital, that would, to me, be a counterproductive decision, and one that would be fought to the end. As a matter of fact, I told them that, listen, here's a situation. Any attempt to do that would be considered by me an attempt to resettle rural Newfoundland, and would be one that would be fought by not only the people of Burgeo, but everybody in Newfoundland. I mean, here's the situation. As you know, in Burgeo, we have a hospital that has 16 chronic care beds that are completely utilized. We have 4 acute care beds that are not been used, and I understand there was just a recommendation gone in from the Burgeo Hospital to have those acute care beds changed to chronic care. Now, I can understand that. That makes sense. However, it doesn't make sense to move people that are already in a hospital out of Burgeo out to somewhere else when we have in that western region, as I understand, somewhere in the vicinity of 50 beds, 50 people waiting to get into chronic care beds. Also, the government has just spent $8 million building a new hospital in Burgeo that they have to pay off over the next 30 years. So any savings that I would say they would put in there would be counterproductive savings and stupid and idiotic. And that's my opinion on it, and I will be fighting it while I have a breath in my body as long as I'm the member for Burgeo Bay Despair. I can assure you right now that is one decision that won't come easy and that won't come without a fight. And I will, once it... But at this point in time, I want to emphasize again to the people of Burgeo that this is only a recommendation of the Western Board. It hasn't reached government, and government hasn't made any decision, haven't even discussed it, and haven't received a recommendation from the Western Board.
Okay. Can you speculate as to how you think government will respond to this?
I have no way of speculating. That's a bad thing for anybody to do. I mean, I'm just saying that if they, all they'd have to do is use common sense, David. You don't have to consider that. All you have to do is tell them to use common sense, and you know, you wouldn't even consider a request as so idiotic as that one by the Western Board. You know, that again it points out again, you know, that the people in Cornerbrook that are sitting down, the majority of that board are sitting down and saying, let's do something else to the crowd out around the bay. Not going to happen, David, without an awful fight.
Okay, if they did go ahead with closing the facility, have you heard how long they would be planning to keep it closed?
There's no, not even discussed. There's not even, the minister, you know, haven't even received a proposal. Nothing has been discussed by government. And at this point in time, it's the babblings of an idiot that from the Western Hospital Board.
Okay, what would happen to the 16 residents at the facility if it does close?
David, again, you know, we're talking supposition, and there's no way I can even talk about it, and I mean, it's even stupid to be considered. You and I are giving it credence by talking about it that way. Let's say that you and I agree that if the government ever discussed it, we'll sit down and have a long and serious talk about it, and we'll be doing a lot of protesting.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, do you have any suggestions of things that the people of Burgeo and the surrounding area can do right now to help prevent the closing of this center?
What I would suggest that everybody in Burgeo that feels that they should express themselves should write a letter to the Western Board and Dr. Watts and tell them to wise up and not to be so stunned.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, while we're speaking to you, do you have any views on Mr. Wells's recent resignation as Premier of Newfoundland?
Well, you know, I can't say that, you know, it comes as a great surprise. You know, everybody knew that the Premier had given an agenda that he was going to be here for 10 years, and it's getting near to that. I was a little surprised that it happened at this time. I was expecting maybe a bit later in the year. However, you know, as someone said one time, one of the poets said, the old order changeth, yielding place for the new, least one good order should corrupt the world. So I'm sure that, you know, there will be a leadership campaign, and the Liberal Party will come out of it stronger and go on to greater and greater things in the next election.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Well, at this time, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish a Happy New Year to everybody in Burgeo and tell them I'll be down to see them early in the new year.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, we'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to speak with us today.
All right, thank you, David.
Although without snow, it doesn't look a lot like Christmas. After dark, when the Christmas lights go on, Christmas fills the air. Again this year, the Lions Club judged the best decorated houses. This year, third place was awarded to Manuel Young. Second place was won by Rod Kosser. And Stacey Ingram took first place for the best decorated house in 1995.
Third place goes to Manuel Youngs. Congratulations, Manuel. Second place winner goes to Rod Kosser. Congratulations, Rod. First place goes to Stacey Ingram. Congratulations, thank you. On behalf of the Birds Lions Club, I'd like to thank everyone who lighted up this year, and I'd like to thank our 3 winners.
Stay tuned, there's more of This Week in Review still to come.
Close your eyes and imagine. Go with this. Active switch every day. Living. Switch on. Participation, moving your way every day.
An addition has been added to the Weather Network on Channel 23. This station now displays local weather conditions and forecasts for the Burgeo area. It also displays sunrise and sunset times, ski conditions, road reports, and much more. The current weather conditions displayed on this channel have been inaccurate due to problems with the conditions received and transmitted to satellite from the local automated weather office. The Weather Network technicians are aware of this problem and are working to rectify the situation. Off the rack. Did you ever wonder where and when BBS local programming got its start? It wasn't here at the BBS studio, but rather at one of the local nightclubs in town during the spring of 1987. This week as we scanned our tape racks, we came across the Wandering Jamboree, which originally aired in April of 1987. Here are a few highlights.
I'd like to welcome everybody again tonight to this, what we call Jamboree at the Wandering again, part 2. Only I put the name on it, only I can call it. We got a few new faces with us tonight from the last time I was here. Just mention 2 to start off with. We got George Melbourne and Kel Beveridge. They got a bit of equipment here that we're not very used to it, and you sure they're not. Well, anyway, we're going to try to do a few songs, and there's lots of room for mistakes because they're all the space of there, right? Took us it all filled up, let night got. I haven't made enough mistakes if they all weighed a pound piece and knows that one, Carol.
And he stood at the
was fill up the jets, you know. So the jet comes in and lands, and the two fellas goes over, and one fella all stopped around the tank, the other fella got the hose, puts the hose into the tank, eh? And they're filling the fuel, and he sniffed 3 or 4 times, and said, boy, gee, that smells a lot like moonshine. The other fella said, oh man, it do smell a lot like moonshine, don't it? He said, well, I wonder what it would taste like. I don't know, he said, I think we'll take a gallon apiece and carry it home. Try it, right? So they get a gallon apiece of this jet fuel, and they carry it home, said, boy. And they gets to get her after supper, and they're coming right back on the moonshine. Hot toddies, eh? Jet toddies. So they're drinking the jet fuel, and boy, it didn't taste too bad either. So next morning, Jared and Tom, boy, what's their name, eh? They goes to bed. Next morning, Jared picks up the phone and calls Tom. He said, oh man, he said, how you feeling this morning? Oh man, I feel something funny. Dad. Well, he said, do it seem like, he said, though, do you feel like your nose sort of sticks out a little bit? Yes, old man, as a matter of fact, my nose sort of do stick out a little small bit, you see? A bit more than they always did. But what about your arms? Do your arms feel like they sort of lifts off of my body a little small bit? Well, man, now that you mentioned, yes, boys, it seems like my arms just stick up a little small bit. Boys, old man, for God's sake, don't fart. I'm calling you from Vancouver.
It was from the Wandering Jamboree that the bandwagon developed. BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. for Scottish Singing from the DFO Video Library. Join us on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. for Speech Night at St. John Central High. And join me next week for 1995, the year in review. Until then, thanks for watching. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper. Happy New Year and good night.